Welcome to Masters of the Nerdiverse, where we always have such sights to show you. You can always find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, SoundCloud, and YouTube. Don't even have to look at my notes anymore to rattle that one off anymore. Of course, I'm your host, Mike G, and I am more than happy to reintroduce Beer Business Brew's own Darren.
Thank you for having me again. It's been a while.
It's been a while, yes, indeed.
I've had life has gotten in the way, of course.
Well, life tends to do that. That's totally fine.
Yeah, life and beer.
I mean, is there really a difference between the two? I mean, life is beer. Beer is life.
I mean,
and the hops is what keeps it's the mortar between the bricks. You know, it's that fillings.
You're making it a little too philosophical, man. I love beer. I'm not a drunkard yet. Not a slosh yet.
You can love beer and not be an alcoholic, man. You can love the essence of it.
Very, very true.
You know what I mean? It's like someone could love sex and not be a nymphomaniac. You know, well, depends on who you talk to. Nice. Definitely happy to have you back. You're a crowd favorite around this Nerdiverse. We love to have you.
Thank you.
Absolutely, my good sir. So I did want to take a second to kind of, as we do per usual, go into our weeks. So Darren, did you have a week this week? How's your week going so far?
I had a hell of a week, actually.
Nice.
I accomplished a lot, mostly with my channel. I ended up getting a partner, well, not a partnership, but more like a collaboration.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah, with the place that we're going to tomorrow.
Yes.
LAL Works. They're brand new. They just came on the scene back in February, and they have some of the most awesome beer on the planet.
Yes.
Maybe not on the planet, but just in Hawthorne. And it's Hawthorne's. It's Hawthorne's first. So I mean, like I can argue all day just how great it is. But
that's cool. Like, you know, we are for our corporate jobs, for our day-to-day, you know, slave labor, we are going to this establishment for our company end of summer party. And I kind of did a bit of research, kind of drove by it, take a look at it, and it looks extremely legit. So I'm kind of interested to see how we're going to turn up on a Wednesday, see how many of us are going to make it back to work on a Thursday. We'll have to see on that one. That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah. Other than that, it's just let's see, what else did I do in the week? I found out actually before you sent me the itinerary that Drew Goddard's going to be doing the X-Force.
Yeah,
but we'll get into that. That's later.
Yeah, that's the future.
That kind of made my week actually.
Sick, dude. Yeah, definitely. It's like I want to talk about it now, but it must wait. You know, these things they take time. I guess I can go over my week real quick. Unless anything else that popped up for your week that you want to put onto the cast of the pods?
No, that was
major,
my week.
Though.
Yeah, that's actually very major.
Yeah, man, it's like going to Pawtucket Brewery and eating Pawtucket Pat.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. For those Seth MacFarlane nerds out there, that's a whole different corner of the Nerdiverse I'd rather not go down. It's like the dark spot in The Lion King, where it's like, yeah, we don't go there.
Yeah. You should have. You should have seen my one of my photos on Instagram. Actually, it's very relevant to what you're talking about.
Nice. Instagram. You want to just plug your Instagram real quick while we're talking about it?
Yeah. Shamelessly plugging my Instagram. Just look up Beer Business Bureau. Simple as that. At Beer Business Bureau Instagram.
If you want your beer to be official, it has to go through the brewer. It has to go through it. Otherwise,
definitely, man.
They'll black bag you like on V for Vendetta. Never find you or your beer again. We will not suffer lesser beers. For my week, which is a couple of things that have been common in my week. Definitely still playing Injustice 2, because that's the game that has my soul at the moment. Yeah, Black Manta comes out tonight, so I'm extremely happy for that. More African-American representation in video games is always good for me. I'm always for that. And he looks pretty sick, so I'm going to be in the lab playing that pretty much all tonight, probably until about 2 or 3 in the morning, until I just start seeing him in the room with me.
Manta Ray is not Static Shock, but okay.
These things take time. I'm telling you, the Raiden.
He's not coming.
I'm telling you,
he's not coming.
I will bet money on it. The Raiden palette swap is going to be static. It just has to be.
And if it is, it's still an insult.
It's still an insult. You're not going to get pure Static. But then again, we can't have all the cool characters in 2. I mean, 3 has to happen. And you know Static's going to get his own section. He's going to be Static shocking it up. You know what I mean? I've been on this Pablo Escobar kick for a little while. I've been watching a lot of movies dealing with that entire fiasco and watched a lot of Narcos and stuff like that. Right. And there's a new movie coming with Tom Cruise where he plays the lion, the guy who was doing all the drug trafficking.
Oh, really?
Who was flying the planes for Pablo between Colombia and I think it was Miami.
Miami, yeah.
And I was watching this other movie with Bryan Cranston called The Infiltrator, where
I think I heard about
he was like an FBI agent who was running a fake business to try to go after the drug traffickers' money. And I just was like, it was a very interesting film. It's just yet another take on possibly the most lucrative drug business known to man, you know. So I'm definitely falling into a deeper hole with that. Definitely recommend it. It's Bryan Cranston being weird, which is always fun. You know what I mean? It's like it's played serious, but it's also it's almost like an action movie. It's the most serious, like I would say, truest story you could possibly tell. But they have to make it Hollywood, so weird explosions happen and stuff. But it's on Amazon Prime now, so if you have Prime, definitely check that out. Speaking of Prime, we were talking about this earlier, but I actually watched the full first season of The Tick.
The Tick, yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
I was only gripe about The Tick is that they don't have the original cartoon theme music, and that bothers me. I was hoping to hear it, but they do some other jazzy kind of rendition.
Yeah, it's been a while. The Tick, the cartoon version of The Tick I saw was the Fox Kids version. So that was many years ago. So I've totally forgotten what that sounds like. But
yeah, it's
just for nostalgia's sake. I'll look it up later.
Yeah, I had it as a ringtone for a while, and only like every 45th person was like, "Is that The Tick?" And I'm just like, "Yes, it is." And then they'll buy me a beer and. Just, are you my friend now? Yes. And that's how that went. I would definitely recommend the show. It's heartwarming. It's light. It's more of a IPA than a stout, as I would say. It's a bit, it's not as heavy.
But it's still just as spicy.
It's so spice. I love it. It's O2 spice. The guy who plays the Tick, at first I didn't. It was a weird feel because the guy looks like an older guy, and I was just like, oh, that's fine. I guess the Tick can be ageless, but he has everything down: the voice, the mannerisms, the almost childlike nature to the Tick, and all the characters that harken back to my only frame of reference really is the cartoon. You know what I mean? Because I didn't really read the books as a kid because they're hard to find back when we were younger. They're just, and I didn't watch the Patrick Warburton version of the live action.
You mean the one on Fox?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That one was weird. With Batman Whale rather than calling him Deflator Mouse.
Yeah.
That always irritated me. I didn't watch it on that sheer reason. It's like, I'm just waiting for Chairface Chippendale to make an appearance. He's the best. Shout outs. I may actually do Chairface fan art just because, for no reason. And to close out my week, I played a little game called Absolver. It's a new kind of, I wouldn't say fighting game. It's more like a battle world kind of situation where you create a character, and it has the most in-depth character creation system I've seen for a fighting game since like Fighting Lair. So, it's crazy.
Really?
The way it works is you start off with a base set of, let's say, martial arts, and each set has its own particular position or style. Kind of think like Gen from Street Fighter Alpha, where you can change the fighting technique. But as you play the game, you learn new techniques by fighting people, and immediately you don't know what the move is. So you have to keep encountering the move, and if you beat that person who has that move, you will then learn that move.
Interesting.
So you'll be playing the game, and you'll encounter someone who's doing Drunken Monkey, but your character's like, "What the hell is that?" You get your ass whooped, and you're like, "I don't even know what just happened." You encounter it again, you beat it, and now you know Drunken Monkey, and that's how you kind of go through the game.
So it's kind of like Street Fighter meets Mega Man almost.
Exactly.
Like the original Blue Bomber.
And what's funny is that people who have a ton of skills you can open schools and have other online players come to your dojo and learn your techniques.
That's actually really interesting.
It's really cool. Like, you become your own sensei after you reach a certain level.
Well, what is this published on? Is this?
I think it's a Devolver game. You know how they Devolver Media they make all the Verver games.
Yeah.
So I would definitely. It's only on Steam, I believe, right now, and it's in early access. But I would definitely give it a look. It's fairly fun. I was playing over at my friend's house and couldn't put it down. I was like, I have to learn crane stance. You know, it's like, no, you have to go home and be an adult.
I'm gonna create my own Kill Bill dojo.
Yes, it's gonna be called the 5 Deadly Venoms, and you know we have to have an Oren Ishii and play the RZA in the background.
Oh God! Oh Lord!
I want to say I saw it, but I really didn't see it. I wanted to see it, but I didn't. And I expected myself to see it, but it's gonna have to wait.
The struggle
is real. Being an adult, folks, sometimes you just got to go home and wash the dishes. It's the best.
Well, we actually know why you were reticent on watching it.
Well, yeah, because remakes, dude. It's that 800-pound gorilla in the room. You know, it's like, just come out with new content. I am interested in a new television series called Castle Rock, where they're pretty much doing an amalgamation of all of King's works.
I heard about this. It's going to share like the same universe from like the same town, right?
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be it's gonna be Castle Rock, and it's gonna have feelings of the guy who played it in the film. Is actually going to be in the television series.
Oh yeah,
Skarsgård, Bill Skarsgård.
Yeah, Bill Skarsgård.
They're going to have a Cujo. They're going to have, which is hilarious. They're going to have a Langoliers, I believe. The Tommyknockers.
That was the very first film I saw was Langoliers.
Yeah, really. Did that break your brain when you were a kid?
It kind of made me sad at the end.
Yeah,
the little girl. If you guys haven't seen it, then you know. I just ruined it, but whatever.
No, it's out of context. We don't even know why. The little girl got attacked by the Night Flyer. It's just spoilers.
You're right.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, it was pretty trippy. It was like, what was it? Time travel? Well, it wasn't time travel. It was traveling between wormholes, between worlds, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. Oh, man. I think the first Stephen King thing I was introduced to was Pet Sematary. I remember that as a kid. My dad took me to go see it, and it reached. Can I spoil like a 30-year-old movie?
Hey, I almost did it. It's your channel. You might as well do it.
All I'll say is that I stood up in the theaters and screamed that kid got squished like a pancake, and the entire theater erupted in laughter. And my dad was like, "I can't take this guy nowhere, man." I said it in my little boy voice, and it was like, "Who let this kid in this R movie?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's what happens when you grow up a horror geek." Ladies and gentlemen, you're allowed to watch Aliens right after, you know, He-Man and see what that creates. Oh, cool. Good weeks. So I think this is a good time where we can actually go over the news. The news is always fun. The news is the news. Always the news. When it stops being the news, the world is ended, and that's no good. And then that would be the last news. It's funny. I was looking at this meme, and it was like, man, the internet has no chill. Like, it could be the end of the earth, and people will still be memeing. It's this picture of an asteroid hitting Earth, and all it is the crying Michael Jordan face on Earth.
Hey, you gotta die laughing, man.
You gotta die laughing, man.
If you're gonna die, you gotta die laughing.
Every day I wake up and look outside and expect just anarchies going on, and just to rock with it at that point. I want to see cars on fire. Children chasing dogs with knife and forks, you know what I mean? Like in the mouth of madness. It's going to happen eventually. And when it does, yeah, I don't see myself surviving the apocalypse, man. I'm too slow. I need asthma inhalers and shit. I would be the first to be taken out, dude.
Well, if that's the case, why don't you just build around you?
No, that's like the fattest thing you could possibly do. I've built a fortress around my girth. And none shall penetrate it.
Hey, think smarter, not harder.
I'm all for that. I just need to build 7-Elevens around me and Walgreens. That's all I need, 7-Elevens and Walgreens. This is not a plug for either of those businesses, but I will take your advertisement if so. MastersOfTheNerdiverse.com. Just go check it out. I want those endorsements. Give me your money. Okay, let's go into the news. As you mentioned earlier, we can always start here. Drew Goddard X-Force, man. They're giving him the keys to the castle.
You know, I mean, they pretty much gave him the keys to the castle with Daredevil, in my opinion. So like this, like well, I say that because I'm a big Daredevil fan, but you know, Daredevil, the show on Netflix.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. So like this, I'm pretty excited about. I mean, X-Force. When did that come out? I think
90s.
The 90s.
Yeah. That was during the whole Rob Liefeld kind of like the young guns of Marvel before they left and created Image. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. So like, I'm super duper excited.
I wonder what kind of approach they would take to it. Would they make it a buddy film? Kind of like one of my favorite unsung remakes is the A-Team. I love that remake. And I think it was so well done, and it was just like not accepted well. And of course, there weren't any sequels. But I think if they did like a buddy kind of at odds ragtag team,
right,
that would be cool. You know what I mean?
I mean, it definitely can work. Just like if they were to make was it the New Avengers or the Avengers, like the I get my universes all mixed up. The Avengers with, I think it was the Spider-Woman in it.
Oh, the New Avengers.
Is it the New Avengers?
Brian Michael Bendis.
Okay, then yeah, just like that. That was that. I mean, it can work in the same. Just like that could work,
right?
You know, like, and I totally see it working.
Yeah, man. I mean,
probably before that happens. I mean, that probably won't happen for a long time or ever. But you know, like,
I mean, who's to say? Marvel has this stuff planned out to the year 2050, so I'm sure they have some kind of weird New Avengers planned, especially after Infinity War, where I'm getting the feeling like just everyone's going to die, like all the major existing Avengers from the first film. But I think it's kind of cool that Drew is getting the chance to kind of be the Josh Whedon, or you know what I'm saying, of the X-Men universe.
Right, Josh Whedon's infamy aside right now.
Right. He's what you call a turncoat. He switched sides.
Yeah,
because Marvel pissed him off. Is pretty much what happened during Age of Ultron.
Yeah,
he jumped ship and now he's pretty much doing Justice League. What X-Force member would you like to see that hasn't been shown on screen yet?
That's a loaded question. Actually, Jesus, I can't even. Remind me of the members of the early. It would be the earliest members, like
Wolfbane.
No, I didn't care about Wolfbane very much.
Cannonball, wasn't he an X-Force member?
He was part of the
X-Factor.
Actually, I think it was X-Factor. Yeah, he was part.
Okay.
I don't think it was Thunderball was part of the not the Inhumans.
Thunderbird. He was the Native American hero that had super strength.
Oh, there's a Thunderball.
Oh no,
sorry. Yes. But then he kind of reminds me too much of what's his name from Days of Future Past.
I think he was on screen. Yeah. That was him, wasn't it?
No, I don't think so. I don't think.
Was that his brother? Because he has a brother that's also in Marvel.
I wasn't aware he had a sibling, but no, that's not the same. Not the same. That's not the same character. Not to my knowledge, if I remember correctly. But who would you like to see? Actually,
I mean, I would like. I'm trying to think, because I'm thinking of the more updated X-Force version where it's all it's either blades or guns.
Right.
So I mean, we've seen Angel We've seen Angel in Apocalypse. We've seen Psylocke. We've seen, of course, Wolverine, which I doubt he'll be there. Deadpool, Cable.
Well, he's dead, but yeah.
Fred's dead, buddy.
Yeah. Cable, he's coming out in Deadpool 2, right?
Yeah, he's going to be played by Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin.
And he looks pretty legit.
Yeah, man.
Domino's being introduced in the new Deadpool, so that's another X-Force member. Only one I can think of really that I would like to see is maybe. That's pretty much the squad, really, if you think about it.
Yeah.
If they want to go back and get the people from Apocalypse to be in an X-Force movie, even though I probably would think they would, because those kids were cast so young, they would probably recast them.
Right.
Especially like Archangel, which have never gotten right to me in film. Or Angel, for that matter.
Yeah, that definitely. I mean, when they cast, what's his name, Ben Foster as Angel.
I had such high hopes.
It's like, dude, I mean, he's one of my favorite actors, but first of all, just a preface, if you guys don't know what we're talking about, like,
good, yeah.
Ben Foster was cast as Angel for X3.
Yes,
and that was actually the worst movie in the entire X-Men series. X3
by far.
It was disgusting. So, and I want to say that it's not his fault that his role was garbage, but
it's really not. He was really fell victim to the writers and to Brett Ratner.
Yeah. But sometimes, after that, he hasn't been in much else. So
Nah, he was in that one Western movie with Tommy Lee Jones and freaking Chris Pine.
That's right.
But he's been kind of quiet. So I think if they brought him back, because he is a good actor, but does he have the physical prowess to be Angel, who's supposed to be the strapping, kind of like 80s version of the preppy jerk? You know what I mean? That's what he looks like. As
he did his best. He did his best, and to get the physique right. But
yeah, you can only do so much, man. But yeah, I mean, Drew Goddard, he's a well, invested, director, especially in this comic book world. Because as we're seeing that not all directors fit with these films, even the ones they try to shoehorn in. You know what I mean? So if he's going to be kind of like the head of the X-Men cinematic universe, I guess, because with Deadpool kind of really shook the apple cart, like in regards to who's going to make the money. And I wonder if Deadpool 2 has a bigger budget than X-Men Dark Phoenix, which is coming out fairly soon. So, and they're not even attached yet. It's like all jokes.
Yeah.
So it's like they're not even a cinematic universe. They're kind of still separate. So I'm kind of just curious to see how that falls. Speaking of comic book people falling, and I hate to use this horrible segue, but we lost a very influential comic book writer this week in Len Wein.
Very. It really sucks too. Like I was telling you earlier, like Wolverine is. I mean, and to be fair, like I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Like he's one of my favorite Marvel characters.
Right. Yeah.
But like. More than that, like Len Wein was actually he's a very talented artist. He actually created. He also created the Teen Titans. I think he created some Teen Titans stuff too.
Absolutely, he was very influential in Teen Titans. He was a co-creator of Swamp Thing. He's actually one of my favorite DC superheroes. Yeah, I love Swamp Thing. He created most of the all new X-Men. There's different, for those who don't know, there's different generations of X-Men. Yep. And of course, Stan Lee helped create the Blue Team, pretty much, which is Cyclops, Marvel Girl, Angel, Beast, and Iceman. But in the 70s, there was a new emergence of X-Men, a new class, as it were. In this class, he had such a huge hand in creating. Yeah. He created Storm. I'm just going to give you some breakdowns. Colossus, Nightcrawler, Wolverine. Yep. I mean, that is most of that new age of X-Men. And just how iconic are these characters?
Yeah,
definitely. Storm. I mean, Wolverine.
They're staples to all the movies.
And this guy, from all the interviews I've seen and from all the voice clips, he's just the salt of the earth. Like, and that's what I love about these creators. And we're just losing them because it's just that time in their age bracket.
But I mean, he wasn't even that old.
He was 69.
69.
Yeah, he passed at 69. So I'm just like,
sucks, man.
Yikes! I mean, I still need to meet like Stan Lee. I got to figure that out.
I mean, like, well, I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to get into that. I think he's a V, but don't you didn't catch that.
I didn't catch that. I'm so dense, y'all.
No, like V, like V, the show V.
Oh, like you mean like the snake people?
Yeah, no, they were reptiles. Space reptiles.
Oh yeah, those are the ones. Robert Englund got his start in V before he did Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, that's where they were eating gerbils on live TV, and they had their weird lizard throats. But Len Wein will always be remembered for his works and for his contributions to just comic books. He wasn't a Marvel guy. He wasn't a DC guy. He wasn't a Vertical guy. He was a comic books guy, and not a lot of creators can say that, you know what I mean? So definitely wanted to give him a shout out on this podcast and kind of go over what he meant to Marvel, what he meant to DC. You know what I mean? Speaking of Marvel, and I kind of saw this down the pipe, Disney is planning to pull Marvel and more from the Netflix streaming service. How do you feel about that?
Okay, so I'm a little confused. So Disney plans to pull Marvel?
Yes,
because of what Netflix did to how they pretty much poached the
Mark Millar.
Well, no, there was another
big comic book thing.
No, one of their producers or I forget one of their they pulled someone who was major. It was a woman.
Oh yeah. I know you're talking about. Was it Ava?
I think
Ava DuVernay. I think I'm pronouncing her name right.
I think so. Yeah, and that was a major blow to Disney.
Yeah, man, and Netflix is taking some blows, dude. Like a lot of people are falling out. It's because they're getting wise to the streaming service. So what it is Disney's saying, we're going to make the Disney Channel, and we're going to have all of our content on one streaming service, from Mary Poppins to Civil War. We're going to have it all on there. And guess what? We don't need the middleman anymore. And so they're pulling out of Netflix effective immediately, almost like as soon as their contract's up. And it's like, I don't want to pay for another streaming service, man.
And on top of that, first of all, I've always had animosity toward Disney anyway.
Right. I mean,
so especially after they acquired Marvel back in, what was it, 2009?
Mm-hmm. Roughly after Iron Man.
Yeah, and I was just like, I've always had animosity toward them for that. But on top of that, whenever I look at a Marvel movie, I don't ever think of Disney anyway.
Right, because they do a pretty good job in kind of keeping their fingers out that pie,
right?
So to speak.
So to be fair, if I saw, watch Iron Man on the Disney streaming network,
that would kind of be so jarring.
Like,
dude,
what?
watch Ghost Rider on the Disney network.
Click, close.
It's almost like you have to segregate these things.
Yeah.
Like you need a Star Wars channel. Because there's so much content you can do that, right? Yeah. You need a Marvel channel. You need. And I get it on a business standpoint. If we can do it, why not we do it? But as a consumer standpoint, I don't want to have to pay for the Warner Brothers streaming network, the Disney streaming network,
and then
the
there's
Fox streaming network.
And then there's that. It's like there's lots of bad blood going around.
It's getting really crazy. Like people are really starting to realize that streaming's the future, and TV is dead. Streaming killed the TV star, as it were.
Yep.
And it's like these companies are kind of losing it, and the progenitor of these services, let's say Netflix, is kind of being left with the check. Like a couple of weeks ago on the podcast, I mentioned that Disney acquired all of Mark Millar's comic book kind of like properties, so they can start doing the Millarverse. And I thought that was kind of funky. Like, how would Marvel feel about that? Now that this news has become light, they're just trying to cover themselves and say, "Well, we lost Marvel. We can have a Kick-Ass TV show now, or a Nemesis TV show." And it's like, I don't know. It kind of feels like they're cutting off their nose to spite their face.
Yeah.
Because what if people don't buy this thing?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
What if people don't want to mix their tailspin with the Punisher?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's so weird.
It's so weird. I don't want that.
And then in the back of your mind, you're expecting like some really strange crossover.
Can you imagine like your queue if you have children? It's like, oh, we're watching the Aristocats, but after that, you're gonna watch the bloodthirsty Moon Knight TV series, and then after that, you're gonna watch Gandhi's Clone Wars, and then after that, what? No, I don't. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it at all. And it's like I don't know if I'm going to keep Netflix. I don't even know where to go from here. It's like it's leaving every consumer in a tailspin because pretty much you're playing 52 card pickup with entertainment.
Yeah.
And people are not going to know what cards they want to pick up or leave on the floor. And Disney may have to come back with their tails between their legs to Netflix, like, we kind of did the bad thing. But I don't think Disney would ever do that. Disney's going to stick to their guns to the very end. And if it falls on the iron, then it's just going to fall on the iron. You know what I mean?
One last thing about Disney.
Of course.
Because I still have salt with them.
Yes.
Like, after they acquired Star Wars, they acquired the rights to Star Wars, or they acquired Lucasfilms?
I think they acquired Lucasfilms.
Okay. So and I believe Lucasfilm's the gaming division was also part. It was
that's why we didn't get that one Star Wars game.
Force Unleashed 2, or Star Wars 1313.
Yes, which I was extremely hyped for. Yeah. For those who don't know what that was, Star Wars 1313 was kind of like a cover-based shooter based on the seedy underbelly of the bounty hunter world of Star Wars. No lightsabers. No galactic conflict. It was pretty much you're a scumbag working in Mos Eisley or in the underbelly, and they were almost done with that game. Yep. Like, it looked really good, and Disney bought them out and pretty much put the whammy on all of their endeavors. So, and that also, I have a gripe with Disney because they made all the other extended universe stuff non-canon that has existed forever. So characters like what was the character of Shadow of the Empire? Kyle
Katarn.
Kyle Katarn, yeah. And so many cool like post the Jedi twins. You know what I mean? Like all these crazy things just became that's fan fiction. You know, and people have worked their entire lives to build that. And I was like, we set the standard for canon now. And that just gets me on a whole thing about canon. I'm starting to get tired of it as like an older adult. I don't care anymore. I just want good stories. You know what I mean? So it's like, plus, you know, with the multiverse, every comic book company has a multiverse now. So canon doesn't even matter anymore. You know what I mean? It's like, what is it at this point? You know. Anywho, I'm moving on because it's going to make me salt. And earlier today, I was watching FGC's salt moments, like people losing in Street Fighter and like throwing their sticks on the floor.
Yeah,
it's the funniest thing ever. If you're ever on YouTube and you don't know what the FGC is, it's the fighting game community. It's hilarious. Watch it if you like fighting games. Fighting games equal Capcom, and Capcom.
Yeah, Capcom.
I
have plenty of qualms about them.
I have very much qualms about Capcom.
That's actually what I want to talk about.
Yeah,
next.
The Resident Evil Gold Edition announced with DLC that you weren't allowed to have before this Gold Edition. Pretty much, this news article is that Resident Evil 7 is a game of the year on a lot of people's lists, and it's by Capcom, as it were. And we were promised DLC for this game months ago, and it was ready, and it was ready to go, and they just for some reason didn't release it to the public, didn't give an answer, didn't acknowledge that it existed until now. And they're kind of doing their Game of the Year edition, quotes, finger quotes shown, where all of their content's going to be in it, plus this new DLC, which is, I'm not going to spoil it because there's a lot of people who haven't beaten this game or played it or watched the Let's Play. But certain noticeable characters return for this DLC. And I just want to talk about it because I hate when companies do this with an all-consuming passion. I super hate it. And Capcom is notorious for this. And I don't want to get on another Capcom rant because I tend to do it on every single podcast about something. But I just want to see, Darren, how do you feel about Resident Evil 7 kind of, I hate to use the word blue-balling you for this DLC until they feel like releasing it in a probably giant packaged bundle?
It's typical of them. I mean, like just like what they did with the Gold Edition of Resident Evil 5.
Yes, absolutely. Right, it's exactly what that is.
It's the same shit. Just a different thing. Now, how I feel about it more specifically, honestly, you know, personally, I didn't buy it day one.
Right.
And not because of this specific reason, but I didn't buy it day one because I played the demo and I loved it, but it didn't justify me paying
$75 for a game.
Yeah.
With tax.
Yeah. But you know, now that we know that certain characters are coming back, it still doesn't justify me paying that much money. It's because
you know this thing's gonna be expensive, right? Like, even though it's a game that's been out for a year.
Yeah. Almost a year. In December.
You're right.
Or January, right?
January will be.
It's crazy how much time has passed since then.
It's so fast, right? Oh, dude.
That game. How much is that game still now? It's like
still $40, $50.
Yeah, no, fuck that.
Fuck that.
Can you share that with me with your library so I can just play it? For free?
You know what? I will just let you hold it, man. I'll just let me know. I'll let you borrow it, dude. Because it's just sitting there.
Oh wait, I forgot. You have a PS4.
Yes, I'm a console noob pleb. I haven't yet to join the PC master race because Master of the Universe hasn't bought me. Master of the Nerdiverse rather hasn't. And I'm not He-Man. Master of the Nerdiverse hasn't bought me a boat yet, so I can't buy the PC that I want. But I would definitely, when you have your PS4 Pro with your VR headset and your Move sticks, you can play Resident Evil 7 in VR and then just shit your pants for an hour.
Well, the thing is, I actually do have a PS4 at home, but it's the 20th anniversary PS4 edition. I have yet to open it. I'm probably not going to open it. But,
never. Yeah. Why would you do that? Yeah.
So
it's almost like not having one.
Yeah, pretty much. I just look at it sometimes like,
and just
God
that's
damn
tight.
It, why did I spend $500 on
but
this?
it's
I can't
so
even open it. You know, they're still going for like almost $3,000, $4,000 on eBay.
Just don't touch that thing ever, man. Don't let the box get dirty.
Yeah, I mean, it's whatever. Anyway.
Oh man, it reminds me of this beautiful Japan only beautiful Nippon version. It was like Final Fantasy 13 PS3. That was all white.
I remember that.
I wanted that thing so damn bad, but all my Japan connects were just like, nope. The yen is too low, my brother. I cannot make that switch. Speaking of switching, the final news article of the day, I just want to talk about. There's a new South Park game.
Yeah.
Called Fractured Butthole. Yeah. And I've just found this extremely interesting. So, let's say you're about to play the game, and this is a create a character game. You pick out your stats. You pick out your class. You know, you're a wizard or a gadget guy or a mutant, and you've geared out your character. Young Tizington, the 1800th, is built, and you're going now have to go set your difficulty settings. This game has a difficulty settings based off your skin tone. So the game gets harder the darker you are. So if, let's say, you're Queen Elizabeth, you're going to have an easy game on your hands. But let's say if you're the back of Forrest Whitaker's neck, which is possibly the most negative black thing on the planet, you're going to have the hardest game ever. And it's like and they interviewed Matt Stone. He was just like, like in real life, it's not going to affect the gameplay. It's not going to affect how your character moves, but it will affect every other thing in your life. And I was just like, it's so smart, but at the same time, it's so salty. You know what I mean? Growing up African American, you just kind of feel this invisible barrier of difficulty going through it, depending on what you want to be. I'm just going to give a quick break. I'm a 6'2" football player sized comic book nerd forever. And growing up, like, you should play football. No, I'm just going to read X-Men and draw Jubilee. That's all what I wanted to do. So there's always that level of difficulty. But for them to actualize it in a video game is possibly the most brilliant / salty thing you could possibly do. And I just wanted to kind of get your take on that.
I mean, South Park has always been political. I mean, for better or for worse.
Yeah.
But, hell, look at what was it, the South Park movie?
Right.
Where they had what was it?
It was Operation
Blackout, or was there something like
Operation bring out the darkies.
Yeah. And
during the Canadian War.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Man.
So I mean, like they've and again art. Well, okay. Art imitates life,
of course.
So, like, with that actually has some truth,
absolutely,
to it, because basically the Civil War,
absolutely,
in America, how they put African Americans in the front line,
whether
so
they wanted to be there or not.
Yeah, so
it's cannon fodder.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, that aside. Mm-hmm. This game, I mean, I don't find it offensive. I find it
telling.
I find it just, of course, just like it being, it's true. Like it's
like, what do you say?
It's
super true. But am I going to play the game? I mean, I played Stick of Truth for a little while. And it was kind of like a Mario RPG ripoff, but it was still fun. Am I going to buy this game because it's based off superheroes in South Park? I don't know. I'm not going to buy it first day. I'm not paying $70 for it.
I mean,
it's going to be hilarious, probably.
Watching South Park is one thing. I mean, I've never really been interested in the games, only because it just never have been.
Right. I just think, does this set a dangerous precedent for video games going forward? Or is this is just Trey and Matt being Trey and Matt?
Compared to what? Like,
right.
Like what? Like, I mean, there's a whole bunch of dangerous games that have been published over the years. I mean, like hundreds of fucking games.
It's funny. It's about representation, right? It's about the difficulty in your representation. And I remember back when... I
mean, it's South Park.
It's South Park.
It's like... would you expect anything less?
It kind of makes me think, like, through years, we've all played, Anglo-Saxon shaved head military guy.
Right.
But then you play something like San Andreas. I mean, dang, it's on the tip of my tongue. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Mm-hmm. And there's no choice. You're a African American male in pretty much South Central. That's your character.
Right.
And now everyone's screaming, "Where's my representation now? This is like the biggest game of the year." Well, the tables have turned, right? So, I don't know. I kind of want to see how. I want to hear more about this game. I don't want to play it. Yeah. It's like one of those things. It's like because it's just not my cup of tea.
I mean, I'll watch someone else play it on Twitch.
But it's like it's one of those things where it's like, oh man, the new Street Fighter's coming out. You only can play as Balrog. Let's go.
Oh God. Man. No, I don't know. That's not the same thing, dude. Come on. That's way different. Capcom is well, anyway, let's not go back to Capcom.
Let's not go back to Capcom. I just thought it was an interesting article and just an interesting take on the difficulty in life and just approaching that on a video game setting.
Capcom wouldn't be that smart.
No.
They wouldn't be that intelligent.
No. This is the same reason why Shakira still wears a school uniform 25 years after she's been announced as Anyway, not going to go there. Just age your character. Anyway, I'm moving on. Age your characters is all I'm saying. Show growth. Good news. Short week this week, but I think we hit some pretty good talking points.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're moving on to one of my favorite new segments, which is kind of an old segment, is questions and answers. If you are listening to the podcast, you want to ask us a question to answer live as we talk, but you won't hear it live. We're from the technical past, so hopefully the future's not that bad. You can send questions to mastersofthenerdiversecast@gmail.com. That is mastersofthenerdiversecast@gmail.com in my most monotone voice ever. So I'm going to ask Darren some questions, and I'm going to answer them myself and get some answers. Let's rock and roll.
I'm just going to answer the first one because I guess we do have to go back to what we were talking about earlier.
What's funny is that how this question kind of ties back, and that was not intentional, mind you. It was not intentional. It just happens to feed into that. Question one: What is the most egregious example of companies ignoring their fans, in your opinion?
I mean, look, it's really easy to pick on Konami. It's super easy to pick on Konami, and that they're the butt of every joke. But
absolutely,
but like at least they were upfront. I mean, more or less about.
More or less.
I mean, they said fuck. Yeah. They said fuck.
Fuck
they said
fans.
They
fuck
said
Kojima.
They said fuck Kojima, and then that pretty much by proxy meant fuck everyone else.
Do you love Metal Gear? We don't care anymore.
But but on a more serious note, the prime example of a company and a video game company
like ignoring their fans.
I have to say Capcom. I had to go back to it because it's ignoring their fans because I think like you were saying earlier, they need new management and they're just ignorant.
I think that's
in a lot
more
of ways.
Yeah, it's like let's use a case example of Street Fighter V. Mm-hmm. Street Fighter V. They smelt the blood of esports in the water, and they said fighting game players don't care about story or arcade modes or color swaps. They just want to play the game, in a versus setting. We're going to give them what they want. And they were totally tone deaf to what the fans actually want, in that the casual fan will sell your product a lot more than the hardcore extreme fan. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, for every 3 people who just want to jump in online and get some reps in, there's 7 people who just want to play through the arcade mode with their favorite character, jump in training for a little while, and put the game down. Mm-hmm. They'll buy it first day to do that. So I wouldn't say it's like them ignoring their fans. It's that they're tone deaf to what people want. It's like almost like Sonic Mania.
Right.
It took Sonic fans to make the best Sonic game in 20 years. You know why? Because Sega, it's not that they ignored their fans. They're just tone deaf to what people really, really want. In a Sonic game, we don't want 3D action. We don't want Shadow with artillery fire.
Oh God, what was that game? What was Shadow the
Shadow the Hedgehog?
My God. The worst part about that game was before you even play it. The cinematic intro.
Yeah, it's like something out of God of War or something.
Dude, he's like a fucking superhero.
He's like a Terminator.
He's flying through the air and shit.
He's Deadpool.
He's got an MP5 that he's racking like a shotgun, and like he's riding motorcycles and shit. I mean, what the hell?
There's butt rock like going on.
Yeah, dude.
Who told them that Sonic? This is what Sonic fans want.
Nobody told them that.
No one told them that.
Nobody told them that.
And they weren't listening. They didn't care. They didn't care. They said, "What's hot right now? Oh man, gunmetal and Creed and explosions and Michael Bay. That's what we need in our Sonic game." What? To answer this question, I go back to one that was fairly recent, and it's the creators of No Man's Sky.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about totally ignoring their fan base. And for those who don't know, No Man's Sky was this game that was heralded to be that was supposed to be the best thing since sliced bread, the future of video gaming. And it boasted all these infinite ideas that were total bullshit, mind you. Almost as bad as Peter Molyneux in his ignoring and lying to fans. And this game came out so buggy and so broken that they were sued for this game for false advertising. And the owner of the game ignored his fans for months, didn't comment, didn't give any kind of indication of acknowledgement. He took his money and ran. And it took months for him to finally sit down and say, okay, for those who bought the game, we will give you new graphics and give you new things to do, which we promised in the first place. Mind you, this is almost a year later.
Yeah.
So anyone who hunkered down $60 got a percentage of the game they were promised. Completely ignoring fans and hiding under a rock because they got their money. And that's the scariest thing about like games that aren't run by a giant business. It's kind of like you kind of want that security of a Capcom.
Yeah,
because
wasn't that a Kickstarter as well?
Yeah, that's all I want to go into. Like this, like Mighty Number 9.
Yeah,
another game where it was promised all this stuff.
I backed that one too.
I backed that one too. Sadly enough, I gave it money because what are you gonna? It's Mega Man. Like, what are you gonna? I want the Blue Bomber back forever. Even though he's a bloodthirsty killing machine, I still want him back.
God, on this again.
I'm just kidding. I'm just
totally
kidding.
on this again.
I love your Mega Man. All right, next question. When you play a video game, what moral choice do you usually side with? Are you just go, I'm going to be evil throughout the entire game? Are you going to be like lukewarm, or do you go the hard good?
I'm a softie. So most times I usually tend to do the right thing a lot.
Yeah.
However, like sometimes it's just fun as hell. Like with Infamous, what's it called? No, the latest one, the last one that came out.
First Son?
Second Son. Yeah.
Thank you.
That was actually really fun to be an asshole.
Yeah.
You know?
It really depends on the game and how severe it is.
And then like the outcome was actually pretty much the same.
Right, and it pretty much is. It's just like an alternate ending. But the cool thing about the Infamous games is that your power set changes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does. That was also really cool too.
So it gave you a reason to double back.
Yeah.
And play the game differently.
Right.
And like games like Skyrim, where if you went the evil path, you can join like the cabal of like ninjas.
Oh, you mean
the Black Hand?
The hand. Oh, not the hand. Oh no, what was it
Thieves
called?
Guild.
No, not. Well, yeah, them, but it's the one with Cicero in it. I think it is called the Hand.
right? Where you get like a whole different power set depending on how of an asshole you are.
Yeah.
And you become a vampire in that game if you get bit. You can just rock with it. Like, I always turn to the good side because, like you, I'm a softie and I don't want to do bad things to video game characters, even though it has no real weight. But it kind of it's an indictment on my own personality, and I have a hard time going back and being the asshole unless if the story makes it too hard, I'm not going to do it. Like, I just can't. But if it's something like it's not too deep and it's just like, oh, you're just going to yell at your significant other or something, like playing The Witcher or something like that, playing the jerk route.
For Skyrim though, like I hated the vampires. Their power
so
set was terrible.
Yeah.
Like everything you got was like being a vampire lord was just stupid. But I remained a werewolf. Actually,
that was a cool. Okay, side note, that was a really cool side quest where you had to go into go in and find the werewolf clan.
Yeah.
And you had to drink the blood, and you would turn into a werewolf and run the countryside.
Yeah.
Oh man, I need another Elder Scrolls game. You hear that, Bethesda? Just give it. But it would be buggy as hell and not that graphically not all that good, no matter what system it's on.
You mean like all their games?
Like all their games? I wonder if they're going to utilize the power of the Xbox One X, and that will be like their flagship Bethesda super game.
Look, man. All right, just look. Hear me out. Okay, like the fact that they can't get their PC games. The fact that the community still has to mod their shit in order for it to run properly and look good. You know what I'm saying? That they need to start with that first. How about that? Okay.
Okay. I can piggyback off that. I was talking about this like one of my very first episodes of this podcast where it took the Marvel vs. Capcom community to balance the game because they wouldn't go back and balance it. And that's why Marvel vs. Capcom 3 was so broken for so many years. It took the PC community to do balances and fix glitches in the game because Capcom wouldn't shell out. Okay, anyway. We're not going back on Capcom. I already talked about this. Okay, we're going to end on a happy note. What's your favorite death animation in a video game?
My favorite death animation? Skyrim. Like, because sometimes you die really crazy.
Yeah,
in Skyrim, my favorite animation is when you get blasted or get shot or whatever, and you do a little dance.
You ragdoll infinite?
No. Like, have you ever had that instance where like you dance like this?
Oh yeah. Your arms flail around, and your head's down.
Yeah.
You just sit there stuck in the corner. It happened to me. I fought this dark wizard in his cave because I needed his mask. This dude did a real big Spectrum Patronum on me.
One of the
Dragon Mask.
the Daedric princes, right?
That was so fun, going down and hunting all those dudes down. Oh man, Skyrim feels.
I always got confused between the Daedric princess and then the dragon priest, though.
Yeah,
anyway, I never collected all. What was it, 13 masks or something like that?
I missed one mask because it was hidden behind a time. There was one mask that was you can time out of it if you didn't, because you had to collect all masks. It was like 10 masks or something like that.
Okay.
You had to collect 9 before you can unlock the 10th one, and the 9th one was like behind like a time wall where if you didn't get it within a certain point of the game, you can't go back to get it.
Oh, I think I've heard this. I think I heard something like that. Yeah.
And it just pissed me off when I stopped playing. I was just like, I'm over it. If I had to pick a death animation, for some reason, Mega Man just pops in my brain. You know, just the little sparkle.
Just the sparkle.
You know, when he dies and he just turns into a bunch of circles and splats off.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of that, I'll let you finish.
Of course.
Speaking of that, that's actually probably one of my other favorite animations is when you kill one of the bosses and they get stuck in midair. And they pretty much they start flashing, and then all of a sudden they just explode. And all it's like for like 10 minutes, and you're like still waiting.
And you're just like you're in your own glory. You're being bathed. That's what I'm saying. Mega Man is a sadist. He sits there and absorbs their energies as they're exploding like sparkles, and he's like, "Yes, the power is mine. There can be only one." Mega Man's a Highlander. You heard it here first. Oh man, other good death animations. I kind of like. I like when in fighting games where it's a draw, and the character doesn't fall out dead. He just kind of like does like holds his head like, oh man, I lost. Or like they fall to their knees like, oh no. It's like, I like those animations in fighting games where the time runs out and you just happen to have like less life than your other dude. Right. And each character has their own unique kind of like, oh, this sucks animation. Yeah. Like Ryu just looks at you like, oh, you're not tough. You didn't win. and like Bison just kind of turns his back on you, and Chun-Li falls and does the splits or something. Like, I love fighting game fighting game timeout animations are the best. Oh man, good business, very very good business. In closing, anything you excited for this coming up week? It. I have to see that. I'm hearing very good things about it.
Yep, 96% rating, fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
And I love YouTube, and YouTube is full of spoilers and like okay, I have a YouTube gripe. If you're a YouTuber, and I hope you are, and you create content, do not post spoilers as your introduction card. Don't show Kaiser Soze in your introduction card, because all I see is a giant fat spoiler, and I have to use a Q-tip to dig it out of my brain because I just saw it. I hate that.
It's a little intense, man.
I hate it. I would give myself a frontal lobotomy just to get it out of my brain. It's the worst thing you could possibly do. Do not post spoilers as your introduction image for your content. Just don't do it. Okay, don't do it. Just don't do it.
I thought we were going to end on a happy note.
I'm sorry. This is a very salty episode. You know, I need to get. I'm gonna eat one of those giant. Remember Rex Bannon from The Simpsons? Yes. The guy who was going after the beer baron. Yeah. I know that's probably one of your favorite episodes. Yeah, it is actually. And he was eating that ice cream with the fireworks and shit. He was just sitting there looking real mad and like determined. He was like, "I'm gonna catch you, beer baron." No, you won't. Yes, you will. Nope. I'm going to be eating that ice cream and just staring off into the distance. I'm sorry, I just kind of hijacked. What are you excited for? Anything else you excited for this week, man?
God, no, you didn't hijack anything, by the way. Always good segues on this show.
Yes.
I'm also excited for Mother.
Oh, you know what? The Darren Aronofsky film.
Yeah, supposed to be his major return. No, not that he fell really that far off.
Has this guy really made like a horrible movie ever? Like,
I mean, there was
pretty consistent, right?
It's he's had a couple of things to his career, but I mean, like this, like is supposed to, and it's supposed to be like one of his best, like his absolute best. Right. And it's already gotten a really high rating before it came out from critics. So
I may have to check that out because it looks very suspenseful. Javier Bardem, what's her face from
Jennifer Lawrence.
Jennifer Lawrence.
I like how you said X-Men and not Hunger Games.
Hunger Games is over. Michelle Pfeiffer is in this film.
Yeah,
I like me some Michelle Pfeiffer. But I was watching Batman Returns the other day and realizing how horrible that movie was. People are salty now. Hold that L. I'm sorry. Like, it's hard to go back and watch those. Like, 89 Batman will forever hold a place in my heart. Is it a good movie? Nah, man. Come on, there's so many holes in that film. You would think it was Swiss cheese. Man, but you know, the Batwing went into the moon. And as a little Mike Short Pants with like his propeller hat in his Oshkosh Bagosh, just lost his shit seeing that back in the day. I'm thinking about playing Destiny 2. Think about picking that up.
I'm still debating on that.
I'm hearing good things about it.
You say you're not hearing good things about it?
I am hearing good things about it. I kind of want to pick that up because I'm getting that MMORPG itch. I need to jump into something else, but I hate having to find new people to play in squads, like building a Discord and like teaming up with other like-minded humans, which is in a sea of idiots and children on PlayStation is extremely hard to do.
Just wait till the Christmas noobs come out.
Oh, the Christmas noobs. I mean, we prepare for that. We bunker down. Like when I used to play Final Fantasy 14, the Christmas noobs would come and it would be like Game of Thrones. You know, winter is coming. The Christmas noobs. I am still pretty close to my FF14 guild members, so I wonder if any of them have Destiny 2 that I can piggyback off of. But thinking about picking that up. Finishing Death Note, the anime, for some reason, because I watched a couple of weeks ago. I talked about watching the live action, and I was like, I just have to understand why people are so salty. So I went back to watch the anime. It's pretty good. I mean, it's no Cowboy Bebop, but then what is? Okay, I have to ask you: Cowboy Bebop or Samurai Champloo?
Cowboy Bebop, man. What do you mean? Is that a question?
Some people go the other way, and then I just kick them out of my podcast immediately.
What the fuck?
Some people just love it. Some people think Cowboy is overrated. I'm like, you're crazy.
I think your face is overrated.
Right? It's just, I'll slap you with all 4 of my hands. The other 2 I will borrow from other acolytes. Oh, man. I'm looking forward to do artwork for this week's episode. I already have it sketched out. Just need to do the inking. That'll probably be done for tomorrow. Good show. It's always a pleasure having you on, Darren, man.
Thank you.
Like, to quote the immortal Bette Midler, you are the wind beneath my wings, as it were. That's too dramatic.
Yeah, man.
You the homie, bro. We're gonna fist palm it out. You the homie, bro. As always, you can find me on Twitter, at mnerdiverse. That is at mnerdiverse. And where can we find you, my good sir?
Beard Business Bureau. You can find me on Twitter at oh god, I always get my Twitter mixed up. You can find me at Beard Business Bureau on Facebook. You can find me at Beard Business Bureau on Instagram, and you can find me at Beer B Bureau on Twitter.
Find this man, like, comment, and subscribe on his work. You will not be disappointed. He's made me a fan, and I'm drinking more. I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, but beer is entering the bloodstream, and it's making me listen to a lot more dad rock. I don't know why. I guess that's my reaction.
I'm a propagator of having a good time. Dad rock, that's your business. But
man, I've been listening to a lot of yacht rock, dude. Like,
that's your business.
Like, the Captain and Tennille and shit, and Christopher Cross.
Dude, you're mixing cheap champagne and good beer together.
Hey, man, sometimes you got to make that mimosa, dude. You got to get that Tampico with that $1,000 champagne.
Oh Lord,
you got to have that. Gotta have that Wagyu beef with a cup of Kool-Aid. As always, you can find Masters of the Nerdiverse on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, SoundCloud, YouTube. Don't ask about Spotify because they have very weird parameters set for people to join their thing. So if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm, of course, your host, Mike G. And I will always ask you to go that one step beyond.